episode of Fake Football Analysts. I almost said that's my sports again. I always forget that we're not that anymore.
Mhm.
I'm your host, the most Aaron Cass. We got Hollywood Ray right here. He's excited. We got the championship for the AFC and NFC. We're going to talk about today. So Hollywood Ray, how you feeling? Obviously, besides excited.
No, I'm good. I mean, we talked a little bit about this off the air. We're expecting a storm in the Northeast, really kind of across the most of the United States, honestly. But I'm expecting a storm on this football field too, so I'm excited about that. Like you said, before we get into the NFL championship game, there was another championship game that took place on Monday night, and because it wasn't the way that you wanted to go, we're not going to go too far into it. But what I want to get at, I think, is something that you may agree with, and you may not. So hopefully you don't agree with, so we can maybe have a bit of a conversation about it. It's wild to me that a team of Chris Winkies won the national championship. When your average age is 23, once again, kudos for them to get around the system and find a way to give all the NIL money and and just once again, I acknowledge this sounds like a get off my lawn type of rant. So don't I don't want to I don't want to sound like I'm not being that, because that's what it is. But yeah, when you're all 21 or higher, just about, your quarterback's like 31. You better win the national championship. You better win. I didn't realize until the game though that it was actually at in Miami. I was like, oh, this is a home game. They came into the crib, and I was like, whoa, because I had no idea. That's how much I haven't watched. Unfortunately,
He's a
because
Gators
my
fan,
team is
folks.
trash.
That's why he's not. That's
Yeah,
why he's
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah,
mentioned.
Gators are, listen, Napier fired, DJ Lagway gone. Like, it's just, yeah. So, it's going to be another tough season, next year, unless we get Steve Spurrier or Urban Meyer reincarnated. And I highly doubt that. But no, man, I had to put that out there. I had to put that on tape, on wax, because, a lot of people were making these, trolling statements, which I only trolled those that was getting on my head about Florida. And I'm just like, hey, we've won one before you guys. So I was just like, let's not go there. So let's chill. Because I said my team was really had killers for real. You know what I'm saying? So let's not get crazy. But no, all jokes aside, like I said, when you have a team of guys that were 30 years old, you better win it. But I guess congrats to the Indiana Hoosiers. You're still a basketball school, in my opinion. But hey, congrats on getting the national championship and winning with a bunch of geriatric players.
I really didn't have a problem with it, just because this is what college football wanted, in a
Mm-hmm.
sense, because of the COVID year. So they were granting people extra medical stuff like that. So I mean, it is what it is. People were telling me, "Oh, you should be scared of Indiana. You should be scared." Listen, man, it's a Canes thing. You wouldn't understand. The Canes fans are not afraid of anybody. All right, like I wasn't scared of this Indiana team. Like we literally beat Texas A&M, SEC school. We beat Ohio State, the national champions from last year, right? Went to the Fiesta Bowl. Our demons were pretty much, they got exercised because we stink in the Fiesta Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Won that. Then we go to the Natty. It's at home, first time ever since the BCS 1998. I know people say like USC, but that's not really their home stadium per se, like it is for Miami. So
you mean when they lost to Texas? Yeah.
yeah, so it's not really per se, but yeah, I had no problems with it. I mean, special teams kind of killed us the most, and people want to say Carson Beck, like it's like, yeah, he underthrew him, which I kind of knew that was going to happen. He was just rushing. But if you make that field goal and Adam Ballman actually blocks instead of having that punt block for a touchdown, honestly, we could have beaten Indiana. So I'm cool with the direction that Mario Cristobal is bringing this team. I've seen worse from Miami. I've seen Randy Shannon lose the final Orange Bowl game 48-0 to Virginia Tech. I've seen Malik Rozier as my quarterback, Jaron Williams as my quarterback, Kyle Wright as my quarterback. So it's like I've seen a lot of bad things, and we also had killers too. The guy that for Brian Paddock, he was actually on the field. He was a Miami player, but there. It's a Canes thing. I ain't worried about it. Mario Cristobal's got it in the right direction. We just got a Georgia Bulldog transfer, and he's like one of the best in the country. So I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not cool with is Jarrett Stidham. I'm not cool with Jarrett Stidham in the AFC Championship game, just because if the Patriots win, I will hear, "Well, it's Jarrett Stidham. It wasn't Bo Nix." So it's like, what are your thoughts going into this game? You know what Jarrett Stidham is. He's we were kind of on college. He was the number one dual threat quarterback actually in college over Kyler Murray, over Joe Burrow, all those guys. So does he have what it takes to New England?
So I think he does I think he's going to manage the game well. I really do. I know that's become a negative term in today's game. And I think we was talking about this last week, or I didn't know. Actually, I think it was Mike and I was talking about earlier in the week. Like I think it's going to be very close in the first half. Like I think it's going to be like 10-10 going into the half, and myself and New England fans collectively are going to be losing their minds because it's 10-10 and they're going to act like the game is over, and that's a real dark place to be in because it's not that serious. If the game is tied at halftime, you would take that regardless of what's starting. Like you're good. But some of the old tactics or not even tactics, the old antics that we used to have as a fan base has starting to rear up again, especially on Twitter. My God, folks are talking real crazy on Twitter. So I'm just like, all right. But before we get into who's a key player or what strategy is, I've seen a couple of tweets regarding the Broncos schedule and also the Broncos quarterbacks that they played. And Matt, I'll see if you can name a few that they beat along this way to get to their number one seed. Can you name a few? We don't have to name them all, but just you can name a few.
I'll say Jackson Dart. That was one of them. I will say because they were a fringe like 10-2 team. Like they were winning games. It wasn't anything crazy. Let's see. They had to have beaten Justin Herbert.
Yep.
They beat Pat Mahomes. I'm trying to think of their schedule.
You can stay in the division.
They had to go to I want to say they played the Eagles because that was the beginning of the
right. No, I'm saying, but stay in the division. They had to beat Geno Smith twice.
True that. They had to play the Raiders.
Right, and then the last game of the year, or whatever, or not last game of the year, but then you play the Chiefs. I think on Christmas with their guy that came out of Windsor, Connecticut. It's a joke. So Geno Smith twice.
Marcus Mariota,
Dakota
Prescott.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So now, I mean, obviously Dak before, at a point was the MVP candidate during the season, in my opinion.
Now, the London game was Justin Fields, right? I know they played in London.
Yeah. So, and Justin Fields was, I mean, man, I think we could have got 2 or 3 passes for 23 yards or whatever it was. Like, we could do that. You know what I'm saying? Just out of happenstance, just out of luck. So I say that to say they didn't necessarily have a not favorable schedule or not favorable quarterbacks, and they still find a way to win, which is great for them. But that's not being brought up.
I mean, it's like what you said. You just play who's on your schedule.
No, right, but that's what I'm saying. No, and that's to my point. It's just like why is it? Well, I know what the issue is, but it's just like why is it such an issue for New England? But you're not mad about Denver, having a similar path, and I get it, right? Those that are our age or a little bit younger, maybe a little bit older, you thought that this era was completely done. You thought that once 12 was gone, you thought there's no way that they'll be back anytime soon before we're like 50, right? I'm sure there's many of you that believe that, and that's okay. I hope that you talk to your therapist. I hope that you pray to whoever you believe in. Hope that you hug your kids, hug and kiss your kids at night. Your worst nightmare is back. Your worst nightmare in sports is back, and it's okay. I'm here to coach you through it, and you'll see it on Sunday afternoon, and hopefully you'll see it on February 8th. That number 7 is coming home. Should have been 8, but obviously, Tampa Bay took our 7th, so it's okay. But number 7 should be coming home, and it's just like, to me, it don't matter who come out the West. But I'm John Morant. It don't matter who come. It don't matter who come out there in the West. I'm fine in the West.
Oh boy,
I'm fine in the West, baby.
I mean, my thoughts are, so the Houston Texans were like good. They were a good defense. So let's not say that they're not. D'Amico Ryans was over there. Drake May fumbled the ball like 5 times. This is a home game, mind you. I get it, a little snowy. This Broncos defense is just as good, if not better, with a Sean Payton team. Like Nick Bonito, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Patrick Surtain II. I mean, I think he can contain any of the Patriots receivers. I think he's one of the best corners in the league. So it's just like, and they're in, we'll call it Mile High, even though it's in Power Field or whatever you want to call it. I feel like this defense, if they get out to Drake May early, it might be not over, but it'll definitely be a closer game than we expect. So do you think, just like with the altitude, Drake May's first postseason run, like, is he going to get a lot of the jitters like he did in Houston? Because I think with Denver, if you create turnovers like that the way he did last week, I think they'll capitalize on it more than the Houston Texans.
So I think that what you said is absolutely spot on, right? I think that obviously the more mistakes you make, the further along you go in the playoffs, the more you'll pay for it, right? And that should be the case because you should be facing better teams as you go on. And with or without Bo Nix, they're still very formidable. Now, I think it's kind of crazy the way they have pumped up Stidham throughout the week, but I get it. You have to, right? You can't sit here and say that he's not going to be the guy. But I'm sure when some of these guys come on podcasts, if they lose, they'll talk about like, man, what are we supposed to do without Bo Nix? Like, we're going to throw ahead Jared Stidham. Jared bleeping Stidham. Are you kidding me? So they'll have their thoughts. But I do think that they'll have the jitters once again. A lot of those guys will be their first time there in the AFC Championship game, which is why I kept saying it feels like 2001. A lot of those guys had not been there before. A lot of them had been to the playoffs. Obviously they're back by the time Bledsoe had been to the Super Bowl, lost to Green Bay. But I'll say every chance I get, we don't get past Pittsburgh without Drew Bledsoe. The dynasty does not start without Drew Bledsoe. So we can rave about what Brady became and what he was, obviously. But we don't get that without that backup performance for Drew Bledsoe in the AFC Championship game. So that being said, I hope to not see Joshua Dobbs unless we're up like 41-10.
Oh boy, it's gonna be a slaughter. I guess if Joshua Dobbs is in there.
but I mean, but that's what I'm saying. That's how now it'd be crazy. Or even on we're getting to the other side. Imagine if Jimmy Garoppolo had to be like, there's a lot of former Patriots that's back. Like that's crazy. Like that'd be insane if that was the case, honestly. But hopefully we don't have to get to that point. But yeah, I don't know. I think that overall, I think both teams come out with the nerves. New England should be confident once again when you're 8-0 on the road. And like I say, I tell you all the time how I feel about teams that went on the road. If you can win on the road, even if they were 6-2 on the road, I'm like, okay, like I would feel confident. I do think the refs will have their hand in this, unfortunately, because I think they're going to try to keep it close on both sides. Was that part's going to suck? But other than that, I feel good about tomorrow's game overall.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one. So I have some impactful players here. I was, it's not obvious. I wanted to switch it up a little bit. So I have Cortland Sutton and Nick Bonito for the Broncos. and I'll explain that. So with Cortland Sutton, I think because it's Jarrett Stidham, not Bo Nix, he needs to step it up big time because Jarrett Stidham is going to be looking for Cortland Sutton. Like you could say it's Marvin Mims, you could say, RJ Harvey, depending on what they're going to use for him. But RJ Harvey's a rookie. Marvin Mims, he is serviceable, but I'm pretty sure with the Patriots secondary, they're going to lock him up because of what he did last week. So I feel like Cortland Sutton is that elite receiver for Denver to make impactful plays that we've seen in the playoffs, not only this year, but in the past. So I think that's going to be a good safety blanket for Jarrett Stidham. As far as Nick Bonito, I have for Denver, I think he's an impactful player because I could have put Pat Surtain. I could have put anybody, really, but I put Nick Bonito just because of the impact he's had as a linebacker for this defense. This is a hard-nosed defense. It's going to go after Drake May, and I think Nick Bonito's not afraid to lay down the boom. So is Alex Singleton. I feel like they are going to be laying the wood against these Patriots.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, pretty much. Right? And as far as New England,
lay the wood. Hey, yo.
As far as New England, I could have picked anybody, and I picked Christian Gonzalez and Trayvon Henderson. Trayvon, I feel like it's going to get more touches. I feel like Ramondre Stevenson's going to go back to his old ways, fumble the ball. Something's going to happen where Mike Vrabel's not going to trust him. Huh?
That's a way to put that out there. I hope not.
I have to, and I feel like Trayvon Henderson is going to, because he's built for these moments. Like, yes, he's been in Ohio State. He won a championship last year, but he just has that like it factor when it comes to big moments and big time situations. I feel like Trayvon Henderson's going to pick it up tremendously for this offense, whether it's in the pass game, the run game, whatever he's going to do. I feel like he's going to lay his body out on the line. Obviously, Christian Gonzalez, you talk about him, pretty much all these Patriot fans I know talk about him the most. And I actually had a Patriot fan at work saying last week that, oh man, Christian Gonzalez doesn't play this week. I don't know. It's against the Texans. This and that. So listen, man, let's not say things we don't mean. Like, right. Yeah. So I feel like Christian Gonzalez is a big impactful player for Cortland Sutton because Jarrett Stidham is going to be throwing to him the most. So I feel like Christian Gonzalez is going to be working overtime tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, as he should. You can book it that Carlton Davis is going to get 1 or 2 PI calls. That's just how it is. I hope that he reinvents what he did, last week and gets another pick, maybe even 2, like he did last Sunday. As far as Stevenson goes, it's funny, right? Because I haven't seen a player have that type of in-season turnaround in a while, right? First 6 or 7 games, it was like, okay, like send him to Mars. Like it wasn't working. And then he gets hurt a little bit. Trayvon Henderson started to take off. So now it's really amplified. Like, hey, this kid is killing it. Why was we holding him back? He should be starting. Vrabel says, no, we need him. And I kept saying that. I said it on here. I said it on Missing the Point. I'm like, you need him if you make the playoffs. You need him.
You don't draft him that high for nothing.
Right. I said, you need that guy. So I said, you need Ramondre Stevenson. You need him. So I think that I think that's possible what you're saying, though, unfortunately, because he has so many good moments. That it's hopefully it's not something where he regresses to the mean. But we'll see. But another player for us, even for them too, right? Because obviously Surtain is a problem. Anthony Jennings for New England has played really well, and Harold Landry's going to be out Sunday. And Landry hasn't done much on the field really after week 7 or 8. But he still led the team with sacks with 8.5, right?
Yep.
But Jennings has played really well. He's played the run really well. So it's ironic that some of these Bill picks are now finally hitting, right? Because Jennings looked lost the first couple of years. He just did. He looked lost. He was hurt, and then when he was out there, he looked lost. He's now become an impact player. Pop Douglas has become an impact player. Kayshon Boudy's become an impact player.
Well, I would hope Pop Douglas is because you talk about him all the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
And you
I
said
mean, I
he
think
was
he's
going
gonna
to
go.
have a good. He said he was going to have a good game last week, and he scored a touchdown.
That's yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just wish they went more to him. But yeah, I don't know. I just had that feeling. I just felt like if you're gonna try to lock up Booty and lock up Stephon Diggs, I felt like he's the mismatch underneath, and they throw a lot of those angle concepts, which is really for a running back. But Douglas is built like a running back, so you can just throw that to him. They do it on a quick slant, 4th and 1, just to get the 5 yards, but it went for 28 touchdown, and that was essentially the game. Already that quickly. So yeah. But yeah, those are some guys I think about. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I do hope it's a good game regardless. Though, like I said, I don't want to
I
see,
think it
like
will.
I said, like, oh my god, they can, he get away with it. The same thing with the Celtics when the Celtics won 24. Same thing. Indiana, Hellberg got hurt. I'm like, dog, they literally ran through it. They sucked everybody. Everybody
Yeah.
got everybody.
Yeah, I will say I feel because we'll kind of end it right here. So I feel like Sean Payton will get the best of Mike Vrabel, in my opinion, just
Mhm.
because Tom Brady had better teams going into Denver and they couldn't win. And Drake May, it's his first postseason run, second year in the league. Like the team is good. I'm not saying that, but I feel like with the Brady teams that have gone into Denver, and Denver's just as good as those teams that have beaten Brady in Denver, I feel like Sean Payton has that little bit of an edge over Mike Vrabel, but I still think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah. So I remember, those Denver teams had, Talib, DeMarcus Ware, Von
Malik
Miller.
Jackson.
Yeah, Lee Jackson. I don't know. I mean, granted, the last one they beat us in 2015, that one hurts the most or 2016, I should say, that hurts the most. No, it was 2015. It's 2015. I'm sorry. It hurts the most because I just feel like Gronkowski absolutely got mugged in that final play. Really got mugged on the 4th down when they converted and he caught it. But I'm okay with that. I was okay with not the flag not being there. But for the 2-point conversion, like they did everything but rip his helmet off, and they were just like not calling it. So I thought that was crazy. Like I said, I had more of an issue with that than the Blackburn play a few years before. At that moment, I said, Hail Mary, you're going for the ball, whatever, cool. But like you got mugged. So that to me, I had an issue with that call there. But the difference between May and Brady, obviously Brady was always ahead of the game because he was so cerebral, and he thought the game out better than really anybody that we've seen play. Drake obviously is not that. He's more relying on the athleticism right now.
Yeah. It's fair.
But I think that's where it could work in his work in his favor if he's able to get running first downs, which I think he has the most in the league. That changes how you have to play defense. Even though, and we knew this with Brady, this because what you guys getting as touching the Super Bowl. If you have just a decent pass rusher, it don't have to be elite, right? Everyone's not going to be Strahan and Umanura and Justin Tuck and everyone's not going to be that. Or like say, or DeMarcus Ware or Von Miller. Everyone's not going to have that. So if you just have a decent rush, you could have got to Brady. That's not always the case there now because Campbell and Wilson have not been great in the postseason. That part bothers me. But if Dre May escapes out the pocket, he's getting 5 to 6 yards, if not more, for the first down. So I firmly believe that.
That's fair.
So we got a prediction score.
Obviously, huh?
No, to say we can do a prediction score and then go on to the NFC.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we do the prediction score, make sure, because we are talking about the Patriots, you follow Missing the Point on all socials. It's literally at Missing the Point. You can find them on Spotify, YouTube. They have their socials on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
believe it's still being run on Instagram. I haven't seen in a while, but I could be wrong. But yeah, follow that's
No, not
all
yet.
Boston.
Yeah,
Not
yep.
yet. Okay, yeah, follow them. It's all Boston. They talk Patriots, Celtics, Red Sox. They throw a little bit of other, NFL in there, but because we're talking about the Patriots, I feel like that's going to be wild after the game. Besides us, so make sure you guys follow that.
Yeah.
Also, social media. So, what do you got for score prediction before we get to the last game?
I'm gonna say 20. I feel like I had a different score than on Monday, but that's because I think we were just still high off the Houston game. But I'm gonna go 23-16 New England.
That's fair. That's fair. I will go 24-21 Broncos. Will Lutz kicks a game winner.
Yeah, that will. The city might go on fire.
Oh boy. It might be worse than Vancouver against Boston back in 2011. That was insane. But you know what? Speaking of Vancouver,
no, it was okay. They won. It's okay.
No, not Vancouver, not against Boston. But you know who's down below Vancouver? Seattle.
Yeah.
So my championship thoughts for this one is this is the third time Seattle has played, obviously, because division game against the LA Rams. They split it 1-1. The second game that they played, Matthew Stafford went off. The first game, Matthew Stafford did not go off. So I feel like he's going to have a mixture against this defense. The Seahawks are riding pretty high off Mike McDonald and his defensive schemes. Sam Darnold, we kind of talked about it on Sunday. Go check out that episode. We're talking about the divisional. I think in this game, Sam Darnold is going to have his big boy pants on, and I feel like he's going to game manage the way he wants to against this Rams defense. And I only say it just because the Rams had, in my opinion, a top 10 defense in the first half of the season. They kind of dragged themselves out near the end. So they didn't finish strong as they started strong, if that makes any sense. And I feel like with Zach Charbonnet out for the whole year, tore his ACL last game, I feel like Kenneth Walker is going to not shine the most against this Rams defense, but he's going to do what he needs to do to help Sam Darnold.
Right.
And I feel like with Jackson Smith and Jigba, who can stop him on the Rams? Like, he is just absolutely a freak in nature. That's, yeah.
I mean, I as soon as JSN gets off the bus, I'd be covering him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Locker room, I'm covering you. You going to the bathroom, I'm covering you. You going to say hi to your mama in the stands, I'm covering you. Like there's no rest. No rest at all. Like I'm on you. But yeah, I'm hoping that Sam Darnold has a good outing. But just for my narrative, like I said, I need Matthew Stafford to get there, and I need him to get there. I mean, once again, I have been adamant about Matthew Stafford for a long time.
That's an understatement, but go on.
People could but people could check posts, people could check their messages. Like I once again, I've only had to turn against him this year because of how some of y'all painted him against what's going on with Drake May. But I think he's phenomenal, and it's a shame that a lot of those years are wasted in Detroit. They've had a lot of great guys come through there, but he's at the top of the list, and it was clear that he just needed a team around him that can go get it. And that team was already ready to win because they had just been to the Super Bowl a few years prior. And, he was a huge improvement over Goff at that time. So, so it's all good. So,
yeah,
he's been awesome. But yeah, I think that like you said, Kenny Walker is finally living up to what I've been talking about too. But we talked about your best ability being your availability, and with him being able to play, he's been able to showcase his talent. So,
yeah. I mean, do you think that the Seahawks secondary can contain Puka Nakua. I want to say Devontae Adams too, but I feel like Devontae has just been there in the playoffs, if that makes sense. Like he's not making too much of an impact, but because it's his name and who he is, like he's still getting covered pretty
Yeah.
tight. But do you think they can slice and dice somehow, or are they going to rely too much on the tight end game like they had the last 2 weeks with Colby Parkinson? Actually, really mostly Colby Parkinson and a little bit of Tyler Higbee.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Devontae Adams has been used more. I mean, he could be used more of as a goal line person at this moment in his career.
We've seen that him against Jalen Ramsey.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I think that's where he could be best utilized right now. But same thing, like I said with JSN, it's the same thing I do with Puka. As soon as he gets off the bus, guard him. Guard him. He gonna get taped, guard him. He doing the stretch with the elastic rubber band. You know how they be doing guard him. He want to do another commercial with Fred Warner, guard him. Like it don't matter where he's at, guard him. And I think that and short answer, no. They won't be able to guard him. They won't be able to guard JSN. They'll be a wash. You can only hope to contain those type of guys.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I feel like this is going to be either a shootout or it's going to be so tight that they're going to be calling a lot of penalties just because it is a divisional game in that sense. So moving on to some impactful players. That's why I didn't really talk about Kenneth Walker too much. I put him as my impactful player unless there's any more. Mine's also Devon Weatherspoon because, again, Puka Nakua or Devontae Adams, whoever they want Devon Witherspoon to put on, I feel like he's impactful in that sense where he can lock you up. I'm not saying he's a top 2 corner, but he's definitely on his way. He's only been in the league for I think two or 3 years, and I just feel like with him on the number 1 receiver, Matt Stafford's going to have to go after either Colby Parkinson or run it more with Kyron Williams. Or maybe even throw Devontae, but I just feel like Devontae, again, he's just there. I don't feel like he's that much impactful as I thought he was going to be when he signed there with the Rams. And then I have Kyron Williams and Jared Verse. So I put Jared Verse in there because he learned from Aaron Donald. He is nasty off the edge. Sam Darnold could see ghosts. And I feel like he's gonna lay down the boom on Sam Darnold and get him rattled a little bit. And Kyron's just Kyron, man. I mean, even though he has Blake Corum behind him, I'm never worried when Blake Corum's in the game. I feel like Kyron's just that good running pound, running back.
Agreed.
Yeah. So
yeah, agreed.
I put those as impactful.
No, I'm with you. I think that, like you said, Parker's, I think, is sneaky, right? I think that he is someone who's had a bit of an emergence this postseason run, mainly because of just out of necessity.
Yeah, absolutely.
That back shoulder throw that Stafford threw to him against Chicago, I'm like, wow. Like, what a throw, what a catch.
You could say the same too in Carolina when he had that game-winning touchdown. I mean, it's game-winning, but it wasn't game-winning. If that makes sense.
Right.
That was
Chicago. It was against Carolina. Sorry, it was against Carolina. Right. And it's like the irony that Carolina gave them a better game than Chicago is like wow to me. Like that's just how the NFL. It's wild how that works, right? But they came away, found a way to get in there and win. But it's always harder when you have to go and win, essentially 3 in a row on the road. Because your team did it twice. Well, in your lifetime, obviously, it was they did it beforehand. Was it 92? They did it in 90 as well. Was it on 3 on the road in 90 as well? I can't remember. I know Phil Simmons wasn't the guy all the time because Hosteller, something Jeff. I know he was.
It's Jeff Hosteller.
Jeff Hosteller. There you go. I know. Yeah, I know a little bit of the history, and my guy Otis Anderson.
Okay.
No, well, quick aside. The reason why I know about that, so we used to do a trivia thing on Missing the Point, and I could not remember Otis Anderson's name to save my life. I was like, he was a Super Bowl MVP, and I'm like, I knew it, but I could not answer it. And then Joe was like, it was Otis Anderson. I was like, oh my god. I was like number 24. I was like, I seen it. I'm like, I had it in front of me. I knew it. I couldn't remember. It's like, damn. I was so mad. So, but no, I just have more respect for when teams can do it on the road, because you're not comfortable every week. And but yeah, I do think that Kyron Williams can go for 150 total yard. I don't think he goes 150 yards on the ground, but 150 total yards come Sunday. Meaning, I just think because they may need it. Like I said, they may have a scheme where they shut down or put two on Puka right away. And they should. So it should be. They should live with 23 beating them, not 12 or 17.
Yeah, and they are at home in Seattle, the 12th man. We all know how wild and loud they can get, so I think they're going to be running the ball a lot more. That's just my opinion. Anything else? It doesn't have to be that impactful player. Like obviously, the 12th man is impactful because of all the fans. But
well, I can't think of anyone else for LA, but as far as Seattle goes, and he had a good week last week. Their mid-season acquisition, Rashid Shaheed.
True that.
He's been money this postseason, and he's doing his best Percy Harvin impersonation, and he's been doing awesome. And I think that if he gets one early, look out, look out. And so if you're LA, you better make sure that the wedge is where it needs to be at, that your gunners are where they need to be at. Because if not, he's going to score.
Absolutely.
He's going to score. It's not like, oh, it's a little 20-yard return. No, he's going to house it. So he's gonna make he's gonna make a house call. So just make sure that you're ready.
Yeah. Final score predictions and who goes to the Super Bowl.
So I have two predictions because obviously, I'm more torn with this than I am with the Denver New England game. So my analyst take is that Seattle wins 30-27. My heart, because I need it for my narrative and because I'm a Matt Stafford guy, I will say Rams 31, Seattle 24.
I thought you just wanted a Mike and Mike Bowl. Mike McDonald, Mike Vrabel Bowl. This one's actually kind of tough because I feel like one play is going to impact this game like tremendously. So I'm gonna have to go with the Seahawks on this one. It's gonna be tough. It's to be tough though. I think it's gonna be 27-17 Seahawks, and Sam Darnold goes to the Super Bowl against Sean Payton. This is for me, for Sean Payton, Denver Broncos. Wow.
So yeah, so I think it's like I said, I want Patriots Rams. Because once again, Brady got his first against the Rams. I would love for Drake to get his first against the Rams. I can't say it's a complete win-win for me because, like I said, I would be mad obviously if New England lost the Super Bowl. But as someone who's been banging the drum for Matthew Stafford, it would just heighten my take about him being the man for a number of years, and it's solidified Hall of Famer, first ballot. To me, he's first ballot anyways, but like getting a second one, which I fear they're gonna do. I have in my heart of hearts, I'm like, they're gonna do for him what they did for Ray Lewis and Peyton Manning.
Oh yeah,
because they got every freaking call possible. It was sickening. and it sucks because it was against us both times. Well, no, sorry, Peyton Manning was against us. Ray Lewis, no, but I'm saying that. Oh no, that's not Chucks. That's not true. They beat us the next year. So yeah, it was like, oh my gosh, I was like, this is insane, insane. Insane. So yeah, I remember we was there. We watched it together, didn't we? When Billy Cundiff missed the field goal, we was watching that together.
Yeah.
Upstairs.
Yep. That was before.
Then it was just you and Kason downstairs.
It was really just me, but everyone started coming in later on.
But Kason was a Giants fan too, wasn't he?
He is, but he came like later. It was just me for a while in the corner, but so
and then watching that BS with you in Ray Hall, I was pissed.
I wasn't. So before we get going, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. This is not football related. This is basketball. Hey, for those that ain't looking, once again, who knows? Maybe we may touch this during the offseason. Y'all thought the Boston Celtics was going to fall off. They have not. They have not at all. For them to be the 2 seed in the East, have a top 5 record in the league. Jaylen Brown has been an MVP candidate. So yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing. And then even the Bruins have won 8 out of 10. So and we got Montreal tonight. So let's smoke them like we did last time because Montreal has not been good this year.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying. So let's get that. But yeah, no, the resurgence is still here. It's still here. A lot of y'all thought it was over. It's not over. just get started, baby. but as always, Black Lives Matter. Not just when it's convenient for you.
Absolutely. Also, too, for my final thoughts, make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow Fake Football Analysts on YouTube. Try and get those numbers up. We can do a lot of stuff going in the off season. We're not just going to be dead after the Super Bowl. So make sure you guys hit that little bell button. It goes ding. So that way when new videos come up, you'll be able to see it and watch it and like it. But also, too, we're also on TikTok as Fake Football Analyst, and we're on Twitter as _Fake Analyst. So give us a follow. We will follow back. And also for final thoughts, again, these guys missing the point, which is also Hollywood Ray's show. He's all Boston every week, whether it's Celtics, Bruins, Red Sox, Patriots. So probably depending on the outcome of this game, it's going to get pretty feisty over there.
And I've said this a couple of times on the show, but I have to reach out to her via DM. Chelsea, I'm going to reach out to you because we want you back on the show. I know that you're Miss TNT now and you're Miss SNY. You're killing it. You were from where you were when you first came on the show to where you are now. Like, you are doing great things. So we want to give you your flowers. So we want you to come back on. So we're gonna reach out because we need you on. So women, I think most of our guests were women early on. We, some of our best shows had the ladies on there. So we got to get you back on. But yeah, if y'all listen to this and y'all hear someone that needs to come on to talk shop, talk sports, like, please, let us know and we can make it happen.
Yeah. And also to close it all out, Black People Matter. This has been another episode of the Fake Football Analysts. I'm your host, the most Aaron Cass. We have Hollywood Ray. We will see you when we see you. Peace.